Hi everyone, I'm going to try to get through this without coughing. We're going to start by making a body for the horse. I am using beige Super Sculpey here. You can of course use any color you like, but I find this comes out very well. And we're just going to shape his body like this, and then we are going to add 2 logs for the legs, and I make them a little bit fatter at the bottom. And don't put them straight down, kind of put them at an angle because this is going to be a rocking horse, and you know, they kind of have their legs at an angle. I'm just taking out a little piece of clay there that got stuck in there. I didn't like it. So I'm doing it over, which you know you can do, which is one of the nice things about the clay. And I like to blend the legs in, even though you probably won't see that part, but I do like to blend them in. Next, we'll be making the head, and the head is just basically an oval shape, kind of like an egg. It doesn't have to be fancy or anything. And what I'm working on here is a big 18 by 18 inch piece of tile. And as you know, I always like to make my ornaments on a sheet of paper cut to size, so I don't go too large. And this is not cardstock, but usually I like to work on good heavy cardstock. Now this is just a little decorative piece on his legs. Just adds a little color. Of course, you can make it any color you want. And this is exactly the same way that we make the plain rocking horses, and we make any of the rocking horses I make start this way. The rocking horse with the teddy bear on it starts this way. We're just using different colors. And this is the rocker. And if you're going to personalize it, this is where you would put the name. And you'll see that at the end. Or you saw it at the beginning picture. I put my great nephew Timmy's name in there. He's not quite a year old. And when I use the roller, I just do it to smooth out the rocker, not to flatten it. You don't want to flatten it too much, just smooth it out. It'll make it much easier when it comes time to write a name on it. I'm making a blue saddle. And always put the saddle on before you add the mane or the tail. And it's basically just a round ball flattened, and just press it on, shape it on. This is very easy. I decided to give this horse a black mane. And like I said, you can use any colors you want. You don't have to stick with the colors that I'm using. And you just press on the clay. And this is another thing I like to do before I really do the detailing on the ornaments. Whenever I'm ready to put the hook in, or hanger, whatever you want to call it, I put it in. Because sometimes if you add your details on and then you have to put the hanger in, you end up squishing some of your details. So you don't want to do that, so you can put the hanger in at this point. And we're going to add the tail, which is just another log of black clay pressed on. Just kind of shape it out like that. And I use a knitting needle to texture. And if you want to make the tail using strands out of a garlic press, that's fine, but I find this method is much easier if you're going to make many of them to sell at craft shows or online. You have to keep your time frame in mind. And this on its own would be a perfectly good ornament once it's finished, but we are going to put a cowboy on it. And I've also made many of these with cowgirls on them. And instead of putting the chaps on like I do on this guy, I just put a skirt and boots on. Now this is his body. I gave him a white shirt. And I'm going to give him a little vest. You don't have to put a vest on him, but I think it's kind of cute. And he kind of has his body turned in the saddle looking towards us. I know you're going to think he's like contortioning himself, but no, he's just kind of turned in the saddle. Now, to make the chaps, I like to make it look like a cowhide. So we're going to mix white and brown, just kind of lightly mix them together till you get like a cowhide effect. You know, make it look like a cow. Well, you'll see what I do. I just kind of twist and turn it until it looks the way I like it. And the nice thing about this is when you make several of these, the chaps always look different on each one, which really gives it each one its own unique little personality. You see how that kind of looks like a cowhide? We're getting there. And just press it on. Don't flatten it. Press it on. Make sure it's on there. Then I use the knitting needle to make the indentations. And we're going to give him a pair of black boots. And now with the chaps, you're only going to see the bottom of the boot. When you make the cowgirl with the skirt, you'll give her a leg and then add a full boot on. Nope, didn't like that. I think I made his feet a little too big. There we go. his head. And we're going to give him a little blue bandana. I was trying to alternate the red, blue, and then a red hat. And again, like I said, make them any colors you like. You don't want the bandana to be too thick. You want it to be fairly thin. It's a little too big, so I'm reworking it, making it a little thinner. Now, I don't give the cowboys any hair. I'm assuming all their hair is underneath their hat because when you're selling at the craft shows, you don't want to get yourself stuck in the position of looking for certain colors of hair. You want people to look at your cowboys and pick the one you like. Just say the hair is under the hat because that way you don't have to make a bunch of different ones. Now, when you do the cowgirl, you do have to do the hair. But usually we sell more cowboys than cowgirls. Just a little ball for the ear. I make a little indentation with the end of the paintbrush. Give him a little nose. We have our little horse. I'm putting a little bit darker cheeks on the horse. And him, I didn't like the other one was a little too light. Of course, I may regret that, but no, I think it looks all right. Okay, don't put that much blush on the horse. I went a little overboard there. That's actually eyeshadow that I'm using. There he is. Now you can also make the cowboy's mouth with the needle tool, or you can paint it on. Now bake it according to the instructions on your package of clay, as always. And at craft shows, I sell him for $10, but I haven't done craft shows in quite a few years, so I don't know what the prices would be now, but I'm sure you can figure that one out. And that's it. And I hope you enjoyed him. Thanks for watching. There he is, all finished.